Right, the HC6 is done. The first run is in the bag, but it's not here. It's time for more magic of editing. Oh no, that's... Now I've gone invisible, haven't I? Hang on, let me sort this out. That's better. Anyway, seem to have got away with that. So, this is 5 tips and tricks on building the Cross RC HC6. If you want to do it as well, which you should, because it's nice. I like it. Boom, boom. Not boom, boom. Yeah, no. Hang on. Just getting a text message here. What? Yeah. Hang on. So number one is get yourself some clamps for when you're doing the bodywork. These sort of things tend to be very cheap, just little plastic clamps. And you want these because you're going to be using lots of this plastic weld. So to get a good strong bond with this, you need to use quite a lot of pressure, at least while it goes off. And this entire bed on the back arrives flat packed. I was worried about it. I was a bit concerned. I hadn't done anything like this before, but it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. As long as you've got a load of these little clamps and you don't waste any time, because this stuff goes off quite quickly. So once you brush it on and squeeze them together, you've got maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and then it starts to stick. But if you don't have it clamped, you're not pressing it together, it won't be the best bond and it could easily fall apart again. Luckily it's not completely impossible to get parts apart again, back off, if you get it wrong, as I've found out, but it's not easy. You don't really want to be doing that. Which leads me to my next point quite neatly. Most of it you're going to be fine, it's really obvious, but some of the parts, particularly the parts of the bodywork where you're sticking pieces together and they're potentially not going to come back apart again, it's really important you get them in the right order and the right orientation. I did get one bit wrong. Luckily it wasn't, yeah, I'll take the top off and show you. Not my top, that top there. So the thing I got wrong was this electronics box under here, and luckily it only went wrong in a way that I could still salvage it. I can't use the lid though. I never put the lid on, but it doesn't matter too much, luckily, because there are holes for the cables to come in and go out, so it's never going to be waterproof anyway. Hence these boxes that look precarious. I've got 2 waterproof boxes here for the electronics. Got one for the receiver, and then this one's got the light controller in it, which is, I don't want to blow that up. What I realised afterwards, if I'd looked at the manual more carefully, all the detail I needed was there in the pictures, but I missed that, and it was quite a subtle difference. Basically I put the uprights in the wrong place. Seems my time invisible has ruined my voice. I put the uprights in the wrong place. I put them on the end of the short sides and not the ends of the long sides. So these pre-drilled holes don't line up. I could have saved it all by twisting it 90 degrees, but then I'd have the wiring holes in the wrong place. So the information's in there. If I'd looked closely enough, I would have known that, and I would have done it right. So just be really careful, and if you can, dry fit everything before you glue it. These boxes, you get 3 of these, one for each axle. They're full of foam padding, and I'm using some now actually because these wires are tight to hold the cab up. This sort of just foam stuff, and the bottom is full of very, very thin foam, and it's incredibly useful. just been using it through the whole build. I've lined the battery box with the thin foam to stop it bouncing and rattling around in there. Constantly use these for propping things up, pushing things together. When I glued the windows in, I use them to push the windows in. Really, really useful, and there's loads of it. So don't throw it away, it's great. The next tip is look out for, I'm going to put the top back on. Look at that. That's better. Look out for unannounced metal upgrades for various parts of this truck. The one thing you're left with at the end is a big bag of plastic parts. Absolutely tons of it. These things really baffled me when I unboxed it. I had no idea what it all was. Basically, it's not part of this truck. You do use some things off each of these trees, mostly to build the rear suspension, but all these pivot balls, you don't need those, there are metal ones included. You'll probably notice those. There's a few various other parts as well, but what I didn't notice, first of all, was that there are metal top mounts for the front shocks. I just use the stock plastic ones. It doesn't mention anywhere that there are metal upgrades. These are spare ones, obviously, they're on the truck. It doesn't say anywhere what these are, or that there are metal versions, or that they're metal balls, or any of the other pieces. But they're in the kit, which is great, so make sure you spot them. I think it says in the manual, I certainly got the impression that because it's a heavy truck you'd need quite a powerful servo. I might have just imagined it, I don't know. But I went for one of the 35 kilogram eBay specials you see all around. I can't even remember if it's branded, it's blue, it's nice. You'd like it. And it's great. Yeah, I've got no complaints, it's great, but it's probably a little bit of overkill. I don't know why I say that, because it's really nice, and I actually really, this is ridiculous, but I enjoy the steering on this. It doesn't turn very far, it doesn't have much throw, but it's very smooth, and it's just pleasing. But you probably don't need 35 kilograms. It was only 22, 25 pounds or something like that. They're all over eBay and everywhere else. But you could probably get away with 25. The 25 kilogram ones you can get for a bit less, 18, something like that, 16. Anyway, so if you want to save money, don't worry too much about a super powerful servo. Bonus tip. Be better at weathering trucks than I am. I've had a go, I'm quite enjoying it, I will add more, but it doesn't really show up on camera. It's had its first run, and I filmed it. It doesn't really show up, I'll probably have to go a bit heavier. I think I've, for once in my life, been a bit too subtle. The seventh one of my 5 tips is straighten these mirrors out before you attach them. You see the top here, that's broken, obviously, that's why it's not there. The problem is the silver wire is not bent so that the ends are 90 degrees. Bend those ends as well as you can so that they are straight up and down on an axis. Otherwise, when you move these, the pressure of these turning, if this is not straight up and down, will just tear that bracket and it will break straight away. Both these broke, well, one on each side, both mirrors, before I even drove the truck.